Okay, good evening, good afternoon. So we'll start. Today is the first day. So as it is the first day, I'm just going to discuss what we are doing here. We are taking one by one the sections according to the questions, right? In the exam paper. So I have sent you one schedule. So like this. So here I have taken like question number 2 in the question paper. So then the related lessons are here 1 and 2, sources of learning, history and ancient settlements of grade 10. So then I have given here the expected dates of finishing, assuming that your exam will be in January 18th. So that the early schedule they have given for us is 18th January to 20th January. So according that means to finish everything up to that time. So now I have started from here the eighth question. So Renaissance and Industrial Revolution, right? So I have started from here. Renaissance we will do the first and second weeks of June. Within 2 weeks we will finish it because it's not a very big section. It's a small section. Within 2 weeks we can do it. So like that we are taking one by one. That means now we are discussing now eighth question. Renaissance part we are discussing in these 2 weeks. So I'll be explaining, and even that short notes I am giving, and even all the possible questions I am discussing first. After that, I have sent you a second tute with that past paper questions. All the past paper questions from 2016 up to 2020 last year we will discuss. So because in the model question paper there are some questions even before that starting from 2008. So all the possible questions we will discuss is answers. So then you imagine that this is the final revision that you are doing for the exam. So you have to collect all these revision tutes separately. Don't keep it with theory tutes. Remember, theory is also very important to get a broad understanding. So here we will discuss only a short note. Some who had got a good understanding of education in theory part very easily can understand. So if you have not get a kind of theory education, so sometimes you may feel difficult. Some students they can, some students may feel difficult, but however my advice here, this is not a seminar so you can ask any question. So regarding any that theory matter, you have to ask questions and get a clear understanding, because this is the purpose of this paper class. You have to get a clear understanding about this theory part and get a clear practice about how to write answers for questions. So I have given you a test last time, last week in the theory class. In both theory classes I have given that test, and I told you to write answers and send me. So then I have noticed that many could not write answers. So here only I think 4 out of 5 or 6 or 5 out of 6 had been got by only 3 students out of all the students in the theory class. That means others they have a problem of writing answers. So we have to practice writing answers. Here in this class we will do that. We will I will explain you how to do those questions and all. Now I'm going to the whiteboard to explain all these things. Now see, today we are taking this section Renaissance. I will explain why I have started from Renaissance. There's a special reason for that also, right? Okay, now we'll go to the whiteboard and see. So I was waiting for some others to join, because some when I am using the whiteboard I just neglect about the screen, and some cannot join then because sometimes they are waiting, I'm not joining them, right? Okay, so we have taken Renaissance. So Renaissance we have taken as today's lesson. Why? This is very unimportant lesson. So many questions are not given from Renaissance. The reason is actually it was given in 2018. Even before that they have given the, now the present syllabus had been started in 2016. Before that, in 2000, from 2008, there was another syllabus. In this syllabus, they have given questions from Renaissance, but they understood that when writing answers, the poorest answers are there for Renaissance question. So when you are, when not you, the students are writing the answers for the Renaissance question, they give very poor responses. So that's why they did not give any question from 2016. No question from Renaissance. 2017, no question from Renaissance. I have sent you a tune with past papers. You can see three only MCQs were there and two big questions have been given. So 2019, no. 2018, they have given and checked whether you could write. They understood that you can't write. So once again, they stopped giving. But 2020, last year, they have given. Why they have given 2020? Because last year also we had this corona problem. So because of that, that means many schools, not the Colombo area, many schools could not complete the 7th and 8th lessons of grade level, the last two lessons. Normally, world history, for the world history, now I'm taking here, world history. 8 and 9 questions are world history questions. You have to select one out of these two. So the eighth question is based on this ninth lesson of grade 10 O, first lesson of grade 11. So this is Industrial Revolution. This is Renaissance. Renaissance, Industrial Revolution. If the question is given from Industrial Revolution, it's actually easy. So that's why in some years they are giving only Industrial Revolution, Industrial Revolution, Industrial Revolution. So ninth question is world revolutions, world wars. So now see that the ninth question is coming from 7 and 8 lessons. 7 and 8 lessons of grade 11. That is world revolutions and world wars. Assuming that in schools they have not taught world revolutions and world wars, they thought of not giving a question, from these two lessons. Okay, not giving a question from these two lessons and giving a question from Industrial Revolution as well as Renaissance. So, eighth question was from Renaissance then, ninth question was from Industrial Revolution last year. So, last year they have given in that way. That's why in 2020 Renaissance came. So, Renaissance I have taken first. So, I'm taking the most important lessons later on because there are 7 months now for the exam. So, when we learn something, now sometimes when we come to the exam day, forgettable, no? So that's how the things are going on. So that's why I have taken Renaissance. So we this time also there's a problem of Corona, so we have to assume they would give you a question from Renaissance. So assuming that if they are giving a question from Renaissance, we started from Renaissance and now you have to get a clear understanding about the Renaissance, how it happened, and what are the reasons, and what were the possible questions that may come, and what were the questions that had come, and how to write answers. Everything you have to practice now. So that's why I told you think this is as the final revision. They collect all these tunes in a separate the file, the express revision program file. So you will keep all the tunes in that, and this will be so advantageous. Now my advice is at least twice or once in 2 weeks. Twice if it is if you can, very very good, but at least once in 2 weeks read the short note. So then read the short note and keep it. Okay. So now we'll start the lesson. So until the others come, I just explain the introduction, how the program is going on also, and you can even see what days that we revise these lessons, and you can join for the classes also. Now what is Renaissance? Now I'm just going to draw you something. This is Europe. So simply this is Europe. And these, what are these countries? So this is Great Britain. This is France. This one is Germany. This is Spain. This one is Portugal. And this is Italy. And this is Greece. So Germany and Greece. Right? So they were the main countries. Now I have not written the smaller countries and unimportant countries. I have here marked the countries which are important for our lesson. Right? So these are the important European countries. Now, the world history we can divide into three main periods. The world history we can divide into three main periods. What are three main periods? Before 500 AC. after 1500 AC, in between 1500 AC. Here, how many years? 1000 years are here. So here we have 1000 years. Before 500 AC, we call it as historical, historical period, historical period. So this is just a bit different of the time period of Sri Lankan history. This is world history. And this time period after 1500 we call normally modern history. So this is known as modern history. And these 1000 years we call as medieval period. Medieval period. So why we call this as medieval period? There's a reason. Even we call this 1000 years as a dark age. Dark age in Europe. So this is known as dark age in Europe. So what is this dark age in Europe? Now I'm going to explain what happened here. Now, before 500 AC, in Europe, there were two great civilizations. What are the two great civilizations? Roman civilization and Greek civilization. Roman Empire and Greek Empire. So, when these Roman and Greek empires were so developed, at the time of that developed civilization was there in Rome and Greece. We can see here in these areas there were tribal groups. Even Great Britain there were tribal groups. So they were human flesh eating uncivilized tribal groups again. So they were known as Anglo-Saxons. In France also it was known as Gaul-Dacia, that is Surapapa's place. And Surapapa tribal groups are living. In Germany also like that. Or in everywhere in Europe, tribal groups were living, uncivilized tribal groups were living. Such a time in Rome and in Greece, there were two great civilizations they have developed. So they have developed, right? So now see here, they had developed civilizations, developed empires, Roman Empire, Greek Empire. The special feature regarding the Roman Empire and Greek Empire were what? When the Roman Empire was there, it was spreading over Greece also. When the Greek Empire was there, it was spreading even over Rome even. So that means these two countries were having the influence of both of the civilizations, Roman civilization and Greek civilization. Now, however, when they were having such a great civilization, such a developed empires in these Western European areas were established or settled by tribal groups, human flesh eating uncivilized tribal groups. Now 500 AD what happened? There was a tribal invasion to Roman Empire. So the last two now, I told you that when the Roman Empire was there, Greek Empire declined. When the Greek Empire was there, Roman Empire declined. Now the last to survive was the Roman Empire. Now there was a big Roman Empire and Greek Empire had become declined. So to the Roman Empire in 500 AC there were tribal invasions. These tribal groups they started invading the Roman Empire. Because of these tribal invasions, the Roman Empire started declining. The kings could not fight against these tribal groups. That was the time that the Roman Empire was also declining. So that what happened? Because of the tribal invasions, mainly what happened, the trade became collapsed. So the trade became collapsed. Trade was the main income of the kings of the Roman Empire. They earned money through the trade. So that when the trade had become declined, kings were not having money, no money to pay for whom? For the army and for the aristocrats. So aristocrats are serving, working for the king. Army was working for the king. To these two groups, the king had to pay. How to pay? Using the money they earn through, trade activities. So however, because of no trade, no money for the king, so the army and the aristocrats could not be paid by the king. So the state army was dissolved. The state army was dissolved. Now no state army for the kingdom. For aristocrats, he cannot pay. As he cannot pay for the aristocrats, what did he do? He divided the land of the country into three groups. One group had been kept for him. This is for the king. King kept 1/3 of the land of the country. The other third had been given to the Catholic Church. Catholic Church was given the other one third. The other one third had been given to aristocrats. So this one third had been divided among aristocrats as large land areas. Now these aristocrats, they got large land areas. This is a large land area which had been given to aristocrats. Now in return of the receiving this land, they had to pay a service to the king. This is the income of the aristocrat. This was the income of the aristocrat. So now aristocrat here, he is living in a castle. All the other people living in this area, they have to become slaves. Common people are slaves to these aristocrats. And they have to work for the aristocrat. They have to do agriculture here and give all the income to aristocrat. Even they can survive with their income. And aristocrats had to be worked freely. So aristocrats were using these slaves to work in his fields to get a kind of income. What about the dissolved army? In the dissolved army, there were army generals. These army generals in the dissolved army were keeping some private armies. Even the king was using these private armies. Even the aristocrats were using the private armies. These army generals were known as knights. So these army generals were known as knights. So they were the second level nobles, second level aristocrats. So these knights were they were paid by the king and the aristocrats, and they were kept as private armies. That's how the protection was given. The king had given these lands to aristocrats and told, okay, to get an income from these lands, and you have to use the people as slaves. You can do agriculture, agriculture, get an income. You just ask from knights to get the protection. You give the protection for the people living in these lands. There's no any state protection, state army. This system was started here in the medieval period. Why? Because of the tribal invasions. Because of the tribal invasions, this system had been started in everywhere in Europe, not only here. This system was, we call it as feudal system. This was known as feudal system. Feudal system was what? The land tenure system. Based on the land, this system had been prevailed. This is the feudal system. Why we call this as dark age? We call this as dark age because tribal languages were prominent. The Roman language was Latin, and Greek languages had been declined. Latin and Greek languages had been declined. So because of that, what happened? Tribal languages became prominent. So very little writing was there. Very difficult to write. Very difficult to keep this writing. So that's why we call this as dark age, because we can't find good information, a lot of information regarding this time period. However, at the end of the feudal period, the Renaissance came. So when Renaissance came, 14th, 15th and 16th centuries. 14th, 15th and 16th centuries, the Renaissance came. Then what happened to feudal system? The main reason was crusades. So what were crusades? Crusades were the series of wars in between Muslims and Christians. Why the crusades were there? To liberate Jerusalem. To liberate Jerusalem. Right? To liberate Jerusalem. The crusades were there in between Muslims and Christians. Muslims and Christians. So for Christians, Jerusalem was a holy land and it had been captured by Muslims. So the Pope called a religious war against Muslims, and because of that, many slaves, many nobles, all they came to Constantinople. What was Constantinople? Constantinople was the religious and trade and educational center in Roman Empire. Constantinople was the religious, trade and educational center of Roman Empire. So Pope gathered everyone to Constantinople for a religious war against Muslims. And they did how many wars? 6 wars. In between these two groups, there were 6 wars. From these 6 wars, one had been won by Christians, all the other 5 had been won by Muslims. One had been won by Christians, 5 had been won by Muslims. However, those slaves who came to Constantinople and cities for the religious war, they did not return to their slave lands. Without returning to their lands, what did they do? They started trade activities. Now once again what happened? Trade activities had been developed. Now here trade had been developed. When trade became developed, once again the use of money became developed. Now the kings were having an income. Now the kings can have a state army. There emerged some rich group of people, rich traders. So sometimes they were the slaves. They became rich and they were rich families. These rich families wanted entertainment. So then they started a kind of giving patronage to artists and writers for writing many things. Now the early Greek and Roman languages once again revived because of this. Now Renaissance is what? The Renaissance is what? Renaissance is the rebirth of early Roman and Greek civilizations. How that happened? I told you Constantinople was the major educational center for Christians. All the libraries were kept in Constantinople. In those libraries, there were many Roman and Greek books. There many European scholars were studying there. Those people, what did they do? They have now in 1453. In 1453, what happened? So when these crusades were there, when five wars had been won by Muslims, Muslims became powerful. So Muslims, they started spreading their religion, and Turks they embraced Islam religion. When Turks embraced Islam religion, they captured Constantinople. They captured Constantinople. Right? So here this is now Turkey is here now. So this is Turkey. This is Turkey. This is Constantinople. So this Constantinople had been captured by newly Islam embraced nation Turks in 1453, so that the European scholars had to take all these books of Latin and Greek language books, and they had to go. They had to go to Western Europe. Throughout Western Europe, there was a fashion or a kind of motivation to learn these two languages, Latin and Greek languages. They started learning those two languages, they started reading those books, and they started re-implementing those things in the books, and that was the revival of early Roman and Greek languages. So revival of early Greek and Roman culture was known as Renaissance. So Renaissance means what means? The revival of or rebirth of early Roman and Greek civilizations. Now, you may ask any question, right? Now, this is the kind of general idea about Renaissance. Now we take one by one all these things, and once again we will take step by step, and we will discuss the reasons also. Now you can ask any question related to this if you have not understood anything. Okay, I'm going for this chats. Right. So before going to the tute, I'm going to a slideshow. Before that, I'm just once again using slideshow. I'm just explaining. Before that, I'm answering some questions. Uh, uh, can you explain the part again from the king separated the land? In what century did the tribal groups attack? That is 500 AC, 5th century. Only that part. Okay. No more questions, right? Yeah, please ask any questions if you have. Amha is complaining about my connection. I don't think that it can be like that. Is it not clear for all the others also?
Clear, sir.
Clear,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, if not, now this is I'm just fiber line. I'm taking through Wi-Fi. If not, I can just directly connect. Okay, right. Okay, right, right. So now any questions? So there's yeah. Now through right. Once again, I'm just using the slideshow, and then I'm once again explaining, and then uh, after that, if you have any question, just ask. Okay, right now I'm just going to use the whiteboard. Sorry, not the whiteboard, the slideshow. Right now, using this one, I'm just explaining something. So, okay, feudalism. What is feudalism? I told you. In the feudal system, like this, no, king was on top. King was on top, and nobles and church officials were at the second here. Knights were whom? They were the army generals of the dissolved army, and serfs and peasants means the common people, they are the slaves. This is feudal system. So the king had started this system because he was not having any uh, income to pay for the nobles and the army. So he dissolved to give the protection for the common people. To give the protection for the common people, he started this system. Gradually started. We can't say that one king had started. Gradually, this system had been started. So in this system, this is the castle of the noble, and these are the slaves working in his land, and king, knights and the lords and the knights and the common people here, right? So in the now see, the king owned all the land in the country and made the laws. He gave an area of land called a fief to rich lords and nobles. In return, the lords and the nobles agreed to supply the king with soldiers and horses for his army because they were having private armies and even soldiers. The nobles gave some land to professional soldiers, and in return, the knights fought for nobles and the king. Peasants worked in the land for the nobles and knights, who in return offered them protection. Now, this is a feudal land. Now, see, this is the castle of the that aristocrat, and these are the areas that we are common people were using, and they were given a small land area for their living, and the large fields had been cultivated using their labor by the aristocrat. And even there were places like the blacksmith's place and the bake house. They were commonly used in these places like bell, everything. And however, feudal system ended because of many reasons. I'm not going to just explain all these things. Bubonic plague I am just taking. This is 1348, like corona, a deadly contagious disease caused by bacteria. This is by virus, corona. Yeah, this one is bacteria and spread by fleas. Black death. So this was also spread by fleas, and this was known as what? Black death. So this was known as black death. Many millions of deaths were there, like now today. So see, people they die even on the streets, like in India. So because of this bubonic plague, because of this disease, one third of the world population had been died. One third of the world population died because of this disease, bubonic plague. Okay, you can see here the dead bodies, like in India, that they are just taken to the cemetery. So that's one reason that feudalism had been finished. Even the crusades, this is the major reason. I'm not going to that feudalism side because feudalism is not in your syllabus. Just for an introduction for Renaissance only, I just have taken feudalism. Crusades, a series of religious wars against Muslims in Asia by Europe Christians. This and other works was took large amounts of people out of Europe to fight in the Middle East. So crusades were the major reason for the end of feudalism and birth of Renaissance. What is Renaissance then? The transitional movement in Europe between medieval and modern times, beginning in the 14th century in Italy, lasting into the 17th century, and marked by a humanistic revival of classical influence expressed in a flowering of the art and literature, and by the beginning of modern science. This is the rebirth of simply it is the rebirth of the early Roman and Greek civilizations. Okay, rebirth of early Roman and Greek civilizations. So then there was a revival in these fields: what? Art, literature, scientific field, and in many fields, political field, there was a revival. Even a religious field, there was a revival. That means early Roman and Greek civilizations have been once again reborn. What is the major reason for this? Now this is the major reason, no? See, you can see Italy, this is Greece, and this is Constantinople, and this is what? Asia Minor means present Turkey. Present Turkey. So when these religious wars were there in between Muslims and Christians, see, Muslims and Christians, what happened? Muslims they won 5 wars, Christians they won only one. So there was now from Syria side there was a spread of Islam religion to here. Even Turks became even the Turks embraced Islam religion. Then what happened in 1453? They captured Constantinople. They captured Constantinople. Then after capturing Constantinople, what happened? So Constantinople here was the attracted the attention of the scholars. The Greek and Roman literature books were stored in libraries in the city of Constantinople. Scholars were engaged in studying here. The European scholars were engaged in studying in Constantinople. All the Roman and Greek literary sources had been kept in libraries. But the Islamic Turks captured Constantinople in 1453 AD, and therefore the Roman Catholic scholars fled to other European countries with those books and propagated the Greek and Roman literature and language in those cities. As a result, Greek and Roman culture revived. Now, these are the libraries here in Constantinople. You can see huge amount of Roman and Greek books were here. Latin and Greek books were deposited here. These were the European scholars who were studying here. They have been fled when Constantinople was captured by Turks. Now see, they are the reasons. Now when we take the reasons for the Renaissance. Now what is the major reason? What is the major reason now? The major reason is what? The major reason is the capture of Constantinople. The capture of Constantinople. Constantinople by Turks in 1453. So this is the major reason. The first reason. So why I'm just taking this one step by step once again, because the one of the possible questions from this lesson is what are the reasons for the Renaissance explained under two headings, right? So this is one reason. So then what is the second reason? I told you that in Constantinople there were libraries. In libraries there were Greek and Roman literary sources. There were European scholars. Those European scholars who were studying in Constantinople after capturing it by Turks in 1453, they were spread. They were fled to Western Europe. In Western Europe, what did they do? They started propagating the Greek, Latin and Greek languages. People in Western Europe started learning Latin and Greek languages and started reading these books, and there was an intellectual development. So what is intellectual development? That means development of the knowledge, improvement of the knowledge. The second reason. The second reason is what? Development of knowledge. Now see, these two reasons are very close, no? They have a real link, they have a relationship. There's two reasons. There are four reasons. The third reason is what? I told you, those slaves who came for the religious war to Constantinople, the slaves who were living here in these slave lands, they have come to Constantinople to go for the religious war against Muslims. After the war did not return, they did not return. After, without returning, what did they do? They started trade activities. Because of their trade activities, there emerged a group of a rich group of traders. A rich group of traders had been emerged. These rich people, they wanted entertainment. They wanted some new books to be written. They wanted new dramas to see. So they started giving their patronage to artists and scholars to give birth of new artistic creations. That's why the development in the art and literature field had been started. Even this supported the development of intellectual development. So scholars, with the help of these rich people, they started writing new books. They started giving birth to new dramas, new paintings, and all. So another reason. What are the fourth reason? Fourth reason is regarding the church. With the Renaissance now, here once again we got feudal system. One third of the land of the country belonged to the Catholic Church. Catholic Church was very rich. Catholic Church was having more power. So they were really powerful. When money and power comes, when power and money comes, what would happen? When power and money comes, corruptions are also coming. So many of the priests, they became corrupted. When these priests became corrupted, what happened? Some good priests in the Catholic Church started criticizing them. So these good priests, they were criticizing the bad priests. So there was a religious war, not a religious war actually, there was a kind of renaissance here. The good priests were criticizing the bad priests and the Catholic Church. Due to this, this will be called as religious renaissance. This is known as what? Religious renaissance. Because of the religious renaissance, the power of the Catholic Church also had gone down. Because of the religious renaissance, power of the Catholic Church had gone down. During the feudal system, church was having much power and their power was on everything, even the life of people, even the scholars, even the artists, everyone. So they have to undergo the conditions of the church. The religion did not give any, that religion did not allow the artists to give birth to new creations, and they wanted to draw the things now. The painters, they had to draw any religious thing, and the scholars, they had to write about the religion. So everything was under the influence of the church. But because of the religious renaissance, the power of the church had gone down. The power of the church, or the influence of the church on people's life, had gone down, so that people started, artists started taking some other themes like love, war, and the environments. Earlier these themes were prohibited by the Catholic Church to give birth to any new creation. Scholars, they have used those themes and they started writing. So the fourth reason is what? Declining of the Catholic Church. Now see, these are the main four reasons for the Renaissance. Now I told you one question that can be given is what? Reasons for the Renaissance. So there I have given you four reasons. Then you have to write this answer under two headings. Two headings means you are taking 2 by 2. The two reasons, and we are writing the answer. Now first we'll go to the short note. First we'll fill the short note, then we'll go for the question, and then we'll discuss the question. We will go one by one here. So today we have discussed two questions at least, because we have four possible questions that can be given for the exam. One question is what? Reasons for the Renaissance. Now up to that understood. Any question you can raise before going to short note? Maimuna says your body is not clear. Is it clear now? This bot
Sir,
should be clear because I am using a webcam. Okay.
sir,
Yeah, ask. Any question?
sir, did 2020 oral paper Renaissance answers was good?
Still paper is marking no. So still that feedback is not given. For me, not good. For me, poor. But the education, the examination department, they are just providing us a feedback. Still, that did not come. So in that, we know that general idea is what? The general idea is given by them, because we are seeing only a small set of papers. We don't know from where that had come. Only the minister, that the Department of Examination only can give a general answer for that question, right? Okay. Growth of
Sir,
trade and
then
origin of a new group of rich. The wealthy group of people did not depend on the ancient feudal nobles. They had a free mind to pay their attention to artistic works. You can see this slide, okay? Can you see this?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So they help artistic affairs. So there was a revival in art, and that was started from Italy. See, now this is very important for MCQs. The family called Medici, who lived in the city of Florence in Italy, that this one, this is Medici. This is Medici, Lorenzo de Medici. And this is Michelangelo. Michelangelo was supported financially by Medici family to make creations, and this is a statue of him made in alabaster by Michelangelo. Statue of Lorenzo de Medici here, made in alabaster by Michelangelo. Okay. So then printing machine was invented even 1453, 1454, 1453 was the capture of Constantinople. Johannes Gutenberg, a German, he invented the printing machine in 1454. So that also supported what? This supported the spread of knowledge throughout Europe. Printing shops were started in a number of areas in Italy. Therefore, printed books were abundant and much interest has been grew in Greek and Roman literature and dramas. See, this is a printing machine. And declining of the Catholic Church. Some of the priests in the Catholic Council had tended to more worldly life. As a result of the revival of thinking in the Renaissance, some weaknesses in the Catholic Council were criticized. John Wycliffe in England, John Huss in Bohemia. So these are the reformists. We call them as reformists. They were the good priests. They were the priests who criticized the bad works of the bad priests. John Wycliffe. John Huss, Erasmus in France, Martin Luther in Germany, they were prominent among such cities, critics. Due to the activities of reformists, the power of the Pope and the Catholic Church became declined and their influence on people vanished. These were the pictures of them, John Wycliffe, John Huss. So, the Catholic Church, what did do to this person? He was burnt alive as a punishment of criticizing the Catholic Church. John Huss was burnt alive until the death, and Martin Luther Erasmus, reformists. Right. Now we'll go to the short note and we'll try to complete it. So you take your short note, the this one, this tune. World History Renaissance short note, grade 10 and 11. Right. So this one, okay. Now we'll try to complete here. Renaissance is a rebirth of what early Roman and Greek civilizations, and highlight that point. So simple version, simple definition. Okay, Renaissance is what? Rebirth of early Roman and Greek civilizations. Right. So if you have any question, you can just raise at the same time. You don't wait for any other time. I'm just explaining, giving answers to those also. Then you can write also. The red color things are the answers in your this one. So now see here. Here I will show you here. This is your tute. Here are blanks. And this is my presentation. Here you can write Roman and Greek civilizations. So while explaining like this, you just write. The reasons for the Renaissance. There are four reasons. What are the four reasons? Surrendering of the city of Constantinople by Ottoman Turks. Who are the Ottoman Turks? They were the people in Turkey. At that time, that place was known as Asia Minor. No country like Turkey. And they have embraced Islam religion. So then Ottoman Turks we can call as what? Newly Islam embraced nation. So why they embrace Islam religion? After the Crusades. After the Crusades, as Muslims have won 5 wars out of 6, they had an influence of embracing Islam religion. After embracing Islam religion, they became Muslims and they captured Constantinople in 1453. 1453 is an year that you have to remember. Remember that year for the exam, 1453. There are some years that they very important. So here you can continue here. In 1453, I have not given it. In 1453. The Greek and Roman books were stored in the libraries in where? Constantinople. Greek and Roman scholars who were studying there fled to other European countries with those books. This is the first reason. Now, I am showing you how to write that answer, how to use this note there. Growth in trade and origin of new group of rich. Second reason, no? Why this trade had been developed? I told you at the end of Crusades, those slaves or the common people who were living in that feudal lands, they came to cities for the crusades. They have gone for the war and returned. Though those did not die, they returned. They did not return to their slave lands. They started trade activities. They became rich. They paid for the nobles and got released from slavery. Then they started trade and they became rich. Those rich families started doing what? They were living in two cities like Venice and Genoa. As a result of development of trade between the eastern and western countries, a group of rich people were originated in the cities like Venice and Genoa. So then they can ask some MCQs. What are the two cities in Italy that gave birth to a developed trade? Venice and Genoa. Rich people did not depend on the ancient noble class. They had a free mind. They wanted entertainment. So they started supporting artists, scholars, and other people to give birth to new creations, taking new themes like the independent themes. The church had prohibited themes like love, nature, war to give birth to any of the poetry or a drama. So always they had to use religious themes. So when a statue was made, only the statue of Jesus or Mother Mary had to be made. Okay, no any other thing. But now these new rich people, they were having a free mind and they supported those artists to give birth to new creations. Intellectual revival is the third reason. Theology, philosophy, and law were the main subjects in the education system centered in the religious institutions. Theology means religion. Philosophy, you know, no, there are many philosophies. And law. Now, what are these subjects? These subjects you cannot criticize, no? Can you criticize the religion? Can you criticize any philosophy? Can you criticize the law? No. No one can criticize. They were the subjects in educational system. So they were related to feudalism. These subjects are related to feudalism. With the birth of humanism, so what is humanism? Now with the Renaissance, humanism had been born. What is humanism? Humanism was the idea that the man was the most important. The idea that the man is the most important. That doesn't mean that the God is not important. God is the most important. But man is more important. So during feudalism, man was not given any place. Individual creations were not valued. The always the individualism was not taken into priority. So then, under humanism, man became important. No? So then the subjects like literature, drama, phonetics, and history were taught. These are subjects that you can criticize on. History, even you can criticize. Why? So you don't accept anything, as I told. You can ask me questions and you can criticize. That cannot happen like that. How can we believe? So, any criticizable subjects, they were related to humanism. Printing machine invented by Johannes Gutenberg supported in the spreading of new knowledge. So, this is what the third reason, intellectual revival. Third reason, intellectual revival. Now, the fourth reason, criticism of the domination of the church. By the medieval era, both the Pope and the Church had a great power. Some priests had tended to more worldly life. Worldly life means more luxurious life, enjoying facilities. So that some weaknesses of the Catholic Church were criticized. So, what happened? Who criticized? Protestants were criticizing them. Who were the Protestants? They were also priests. They were deeply religious people. They were good priests. The religious renaissance not came out from outside. It came inside, from inside. The religious priests, they were Protestants. John Wycliffe in England, John Huss in Bohemia, Erasmus in France, Martin Luther in Germany. So they were these Protestants. They started criticizing the Catholic Church. They started criticizing the Catholic Church. Okay, so that its power had gone down, so that its influence on people had gone down, so that artists and scholars became so free, and so that they started giving birth to new creations. So complete the notes in red color. Support me at least to discuss two questions. Then we can do another two more questions on the other day and finish the work within 2 days. So then Renaissance part is over within 2 weeks. Yeah, let me know after finishing because I'm otherwise wasting time. Completed notes, right? Fill in the blanks only. Okay. Now shall we go to the question? Right. Now go down. Scroll down to your tute. Scroll down to your tute and you go to the page number 5. Page number 5, not 5. It is that MCQs. Page number what? Page number 8. No, yeah, 9. This is the question. The reasons for the Renaissance. The reasons for the Renaissance. I'm just using once again the whiteboard, okay? Remember that day also I have seen lot of weaknesses in writing answers. Please avoid those weaknesses. Now just remember or now just try to learn how to write answers. Now this question can be given in many ways. No, that means wording may be different, but the answer is the same. They can ask explain the reasons for the Renaissance under two facts or under two headings. Okay, under two facts. So under two headings, like they can give. No? Then how to write? The two headings you have to clearly name. So I have seen even last time in last week when I have given you to write under three headings, no three headings, only the paragraph is there. That's wrong. Two headings must be clearly written. In the marking scheme, they are giving some the factors and telling if the students have given these factors, give 1 mark for the factors for each. Now, if it is under two headings, 1 mark for each heading. So that means you, after writing this heading, you earn 2 marks. This is 5 marks question. Already 2 marks you earned, right? Then the marking scheme says the students have to explain the factor, and support it. You have to explain this and support your heading. You have to give the reason. This paragraph 1.5 marks. This paragraph 1.5 marks. So this is the method, the normal method that you have to follow. If you are not using this method until now, please from today onwards you have to use this method. See, 1.5 only the paragraph. They are not telling that exactly. Now they in the marking scheme they have given three facts and out of these three facts two must be there. No, no, they are not giving like that. They say these are some exemplary factors. Yes, if the student had taken another factor okay, which is relevant and explains or supports, you marks. So we are liberal, you are liberal. They are not differently giving these are the factors. No. So because of that, you follow this method. Write Roman number 1, Roman number 2, and write the heading. Write the heading. Then support in paragraphs. You can write these two, 1 and 2 here, and using two paragraphs you can explain also. That's also correct. But this is the most suitable method. So then they are not telling that you have to write 8 to 9 lines. No. My advice when explaining and writing this paragraph, at least you write 10 to 12 lines. Then it's big, no. Then you can, for this 1.5 marks are given how? Relevance, content. Relevance and content. Relevance half, content 1. So relevance means it must be relevant to now. You are writing this and you are writing something else in the paragraph. The relevance is not there. Even content is not there. It must be relevant. This paragraph must be relevant to this heading, and there must be enough factors here. Content. So then only they are giving full marks. To get all these full marks, try. Always you must try to get these full marks. Right. Now see, we'll go to this that question. This is the question. That the reasons for the Renaissance. Now see my answer. Surrendering the city of Constantinople by Turks. This is my heading. Constantinople, which was an advanced trade city during the final part of the medieval era, attracted attention of the scholars. The Roman and Greek books were stored in libraries in the city of Constantinople, and a number of Greek and Roman scholars were engaged in studying them. But the Islamic Turks surrendered the city in 1453 AD. Therefore, the Roman Catholic scholars found it difficult to stay in the city any longer. Therefore, these scholars fled to other European countries with these books and propagated the Roman and Greek literature and languages in those cities. As a result, the Greek and Roman cultures revived in medieval era. Attract. So once again, there's something missing. The Roman Catholic scholars now once again is a repetition. It's a repetition by a mistake. I have repeated this. However, from here the answer is revived. So from here the answer is finished. This part is non needed, though you can cut it down. I will also cut down later on. So these are repetition. So this is the answer. This is enough. This much writing enough. This paragraph must be written to support this. Now see the second heading. Growth in trade and origin of a new. Now, did you write complete the blanks here? Complete these blanks. 6 blanks there. Now, after coming to this class also, if you are writing that in the old method, the answers, I have to come and give a talk. So don't follow that early method, okay? So I have seen many you are writing in that way. That's a very bad method and you are not given marks. Those who practice writing answers in this way, they have got A. So you have to write here, surrender in the city of Constantinople by Turks. Then you have to write this now. See here. Yeah, Turks and TURKs. Now here I have given you the answer now here. So here this is wrong. TURCKs. Huh? My sudden the small printing mistakes. TURCKs. Turks, right? So here I am giving this answer also for you. Then what you have to do? Study this, recall this, and rewrite in the exam. But this question has not come for all level. I will give you the I have given you the past paper questions which had been given. So in that you can see whether this question is there. So this had not given now. So this time they can give this. Right. The second one is growth in trade and origin of a new group of rich. Okay, so here I have not even taken what? Yeah, I have not taken about these that intellectual development is here. So here intellectual development I have included. Now Constantinople. Now here I have given you 4 reasons. Surrendering of the Constantinople and intellectual development I have included to this one. Then growth group of rich and that Catholic Church something you have right in the second heading. Growth in trade and origin of new group of rich. There was a growth of commercial affairs during 12th century between eastern and western countries. Therefore, a new group of rich people originated in the cities like Venice and Genoa. You are right. These wealthy people did not depend on the ancient noble class and had a free mind, so they paid attention to artists, and also a financial power was used to support them. See, some examples have been given. Lorenzo de Medici of Medici family supported Michelangelo. Give examples as far as you can. You are given more marks. Even the idea of humanism had been developed and it helped the Renaissance because of the revival thinking. Some weaknesses in the Catholic Church were criticized that caused the downfall of the Catholic Church and declining of the effect of it on the people. Here you can even include that part to this heading also, growth in trade and origin of a new group of rich and the declining of the Catholic Church. Good, that we have included here. Now all 4 reasons we have included into 2 headings and written. Now you got the method of writing this answer. So one is asking what is the bad method. Now I'm going to show you the bad method once again in the whiteboard. Right, complete writing answers. After completing, let me know finish because it's two only one more hour to discuss the other question. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now go to the whiteboard and see. Now see what is the bad method. Now you're given a question. Explain the reasons for Renaissance under two headings. Then without naming the headings, you're just writing entire one page. Your answer. Okay, full answer. You included everything and you wrote. So what had happened here? You're losing here. Why? You have given the examiner a challenge. What is the challenge? Read my answer. Find two facts and give me marks. Read my answer, find two facts and give me marks. Now you have given the examiner a challenge to find out the two factors and give the marks. The first thing he does is what? He is cutting these two. Why? For the headings, they are giving two that marks. You lose that marks. Then now what is remaining? 3 out of 5 is remaining. Now, even though your paragraph is having relevance and content fully, they don't give 3 marks. They will give you 2 marks out of 5. Now, what happens? If you have written these under 2 headings, you get 5, but now you are getting only 2. So this happens. This is a bad answer. So this is a bad answer. Right? Okay? Right. So now I think you understood what bad answer is. Now we'll go to this one. Right. How the Renaissance transformed Europe. What happened because of Renaissance? That is the second question. The second question is that. Okay. How the Renaissance transformed Europe. Right. It transformed every section in Europe, such as academic, political, economic, and scientific. That's why we call what? A revival in academic, political, economic, and scientific fields, no? Academic Renaissance. The revival that took place in the field of language, literature, art, sculpture, and art architecture, we called as what? Academic Renaissance. The revival of language and literature. In the medieval period, tribal languages were used. Greek and Latin languages were neglected and they became dead languages. People are not using these Greek and Latin languages. Use of about two languages were increased during Renaissance. Why? The the Roman Catholic scholars, they have taken these Greek and Latin books and they were fled to Western Europe and there was a fashion of learning Greek and Latin languages. It became a fashion and people started learning them and reading these books and re-implementing the things in the books. So there was a revival in literature. There was a great interest in Greek dramas. A number of great authors emerged. Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio. These authors came from where? Italy. Have to by heart. And Thomas More, Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare from England. Erasmus from France. Great literary works. There are two great literary works. Divine Commedia by Alighieri Dante. Sonnets for Laura by Petrarch. They are coming for MCQs and be careful and by heart. Divina Commedia by Alighieri Dante. Sonnets for Laura by Petrarch. This is Petrarch, Boccaccio, Dante, Thomas More, Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare. These three were from Italy. These three were from England. Okay. Humanism. What is humanism? Considering man as noble. In the medieval period, everything was based on the religion, everything happened in a religious framework. With humanism, Europe started looking at everything critically. Humanistic subjects were started to be taught. Literature, history, art, and ethics were humanistic subjects which you can criticize on. Art and craft. In the medieval period, art and craft had religious outlook. In the medieval period, under feudalism, always the art and craft had a religious outlook. The reason is that the church had the strength to support art. So that means common people could not support artists. Only the church was rich and they could have the ability of supporting common people, the artists. So artists were not independent. During Renaissance, the rich started supporting artists. Individualism was appreciated. You can't give birth to any creation under your name during feudalism. We now here we know that Mona Lisa was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. No, you can't that highlight your name. They started marking their creations independently, making. They made creations by the names of them. A number of great artistic creations emerged. The city of Florence was a center which produced a new art of paintings. Genoa and Venice were the cities in Italy which were famous for trade. Many rich traders were living there. The city of Florence in Italy became famous for the artistic creations. Artworks displayed nude and half nude figures. Now, sometimes they are asking to explain the features of the art during this time period. Nude and half nude, that means naked. Many naked figures they are drawn. But religious figures like Jesus and Mother Mary were subjects. Important painters, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Masaccio, and Botticelli were important painters. Now these are these people. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Masaccio, and Botticelli. Okay. Then these are some of the famous paintings. Mona Lisa by and Last Supper by the Leonardo da Vinci. These are the paintings of Michelangelo. See, nude and half nude paintings. See, and see, this is the paintings on the ceiling of Sistine Church in Rome. So some paintings of Michelangelo. And here sculpture. Sculpturing in alabaster was a prominent feature. We have seen that the statue of Lorenzo de Medici done by Michelangelo. So it was from alabaster. Michelangelo was a great sculptor. Sculptor Lorenzo de Medici out of alabaster. This is statue of Pieta, Jesus and Mother Mary, alabaster. Okay. Architecture. The special feature is high roofs in the shape of pointed cone and pillars in the shape of pyramids. So earlier, normally you can see some during the feudal system, feudal era, they were just constructing the buildings with conical roofs like this. No? So everywhere you can see like this. But during the Renaissance, they started constructing semicircular domes and high pillars like arcs. And the buildings is high pillars and arcs. So such buildings they started that constructing during the Renaissance. Okay, so then once again to this one, then there were circular arcs, high pillars, and half-rounded domes according to the Roman architecture. Luxurious castles, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome and St. Church in Florence, these two have been created according to that structure that I have shown you with large pillars, semicircular domes, and all. Uh, Asking Asma sir who drew two divine children painting. Is it Angelo Raphael? So that I'm not also not sure. I'll check it and give you the answer, right? So then novel ideas on universe. This is also very important. This is the scientific advancement during Renaissance. Nicholas Copernicus. What did he do? Father of modern astrology, we call him. He discovered that the Earth is round and that the other planets rotate around the Earth. Like see, early world we thought like Earth is like a rocky like this, and people they did not like to go to the end of the world, thinking that they will be falling. So then this Nicholas Copernicus only he just discovered that this is circular like the ball. So then even you can go around like this. So that's why when explorers they started exploring the ocean to go around. Then the gravitational pull had been discovered by that Isaac Newton. So then, without any fear, people started going to here. And even the sun-centered theory, what is sun-centered theory? Sun was in the middle, and all the other planets are revolving around it. So this sun-centered theory had been given by Johannes Kepler. Johannes Kepler sun-centered theory. So the Isaac Newton's gravitational pull. So those are the new discoveries of scientific discoveries. The Last Supper was the drawing of Leonardo da Vinci. One question is there, right? Leonardo da Vinci. Even the next thing, Isaac Newton, England, he discovered the law of gravity. Johannes Kepler, he discovered the sun-centered theory. Sun-centered theory means all the planets are revolving around the sun. Galileo Galilei, father of experiment, he invented the telescope and observed the objects in the sky and discovered craters on the moon and subplanets of Jupiter. Nicholas Copernicus is here, Isaac Newton is here, Johannes Kepler is here, Galileo Galilei is here. Right. So then, advancement in medicine. William Harvey, what did he discover? He discovered significant information regarding blood circulatory system in the human body. Before that, people were believing that all the organs inside the body were floating in a sea of blood. The body was full of sea of blood, and then so that all the organs are floating. But he only discovered that the bloods are moving in that arteries and veins, through arteries and veins, and there's a system like that. And Paracelsus, he experimented on the causes for diseases and remedies for them. Early people were thinking that the diseases are caused by the god. If the god is getting angry, we get diseases. This person, he discovered that there are two types of diseases, that some diseases are caused by bacteria or virus, microorganisms, and the other diseases are coming from the body. So if they are caused by bacteria and virus, you can treat those the diseases and cure the remedies. Michael Surtees, Swiss, he discovered information on the process of spreading blood throughout the body. Double circulation. What is double circulation? Double circulation means now in one turn, the blood goes to the heart for two times. So once it is pumped like this and going through the body and come to this one, and going through this one, and once again through the lungs, once again to this one. So like that, not sorry, this one. So this starting from here and coming to this one. So this is double circulation, going through the heart for two times in one turn. So this is known as double circulation of blood. So you will learn this one from that science. They will teach this one, okay? And Johannes Gutenberg, a German, he invented the printing machine. William Harvey, Paracelsus, Michael Serdes, Johannes Gutenberg, right? Right. So then we'll once again go to the short note. Right. This is the short note, right? So once again you go back, scroll up to the place where I stopped. This one. Transformation of Europe by Renaissance. After completing this part, we will go for that question and some MCQs we will do today, right? Okay. So then here, the revival of language and literature. Tribal languages were used in medieval period. Greek and Latin, which existed as dead languages, received a revival. Number of authors were emerged. In Italy, Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio. Yes, no. In England, Sir Thomas More, Francis Bacon, and William Shakespeare. In France, Erasmus. So they were known as Renaissance authors. Have to by heart. Have to by heart, huh? Renaissance authors. Humanism. Considering man as noble, due to humanism, Europe started to look at everything with a critical eye. So in the fields of art and craft, during medieval period, art had religious characteristics. Always they were using religious themes, and statues of Mother Mary and Jesus like. So complete writing, fill in the blanks. Now you can just start once again revising this short note, okay? Even you can do it today, it's not today itself, it's not good. But within this week, before coming to the next week, once again you go through this short note and revise, because it's important. So why we started from Renaissance? Because it's a section that newly paid attention, and many questions are not given from this section. Okay, I think finish. So when I am scrolling up, artists were not independent. Rich started appreciating worldly pressure. Worldly pressure means they started appreciating um, that not the religious themes only, even the other themes. Okay, first page in the short note finished, and one page in the questions also finished now. Huh? Right, we'll go to paintings. The city of Florence became a center for art. These are the artists: Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Masaccio, and Botticelli. Great creations of Leonardo da Vinci were Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. So you just remember those two, that's enough. There are some other. Even not only he was an artist, he was a musician, he was an engineer, he was a physician, so a lot of skills he had, lot of knowledge he had. So what are the masterpieces of Michelangelo? Paintings on the ceiling of Sistine Church in Rome, I have shown you. So Last Judgment, the painting of Adam, and the sculpture of Adam is also from him. Sculpturing in alabaster was prominent feature. Sculptured Lorenzo Medici of the Medici family by Michelangelo. The statue of Pieta and Moses and David. Even architecture, buildings with circular arcs, high pillars, and half-round domes were started to build. What are the examples? St. Peter's Basilica Church and the Sea Church in Florence. Yeah, asking about marble. The marble means alabaster. Marble is a kind of alabaster. Okay. So then, Kavin, that's you are correct. They are marble. Marble is alabaster, a kind of alabaster. So those days they were using marbles and even alabaster. Remember that the last year question was about that. Explain the second question. They explain the features of the art and sculpture during Renaissance. So then you have to write those things. The last year question that we will discuss next week, right? So with the given answers, so I'm just making you to write answers. So before my model answer, you just can try that those answers in the past paper T10. Better you just write those answers. Then you can see, you can compare your answer with me, my one. Let me know after writing. I'm waiting for you. We don't have any time to waste in the paper class. It's a very tough schedule, right? It's not a simple schedule that within 30 weeks, finishing everything, revising everything. I think when I revise like this, you get a very good revision, right? Every lesson like this I'm taking and revising. Theory is very important. I'm not telling that theory is not important. The theory, in theory you get a very clear broad understanding, then short note and the revision is needed, otherwise you cannot revise them. Revision is needed. That's why a paper class is very important to recall the past memory. Within a short period of time you are recalling a huge area once again. Okay, so that's why for all the theory students I just told you to join this one, then you recall the past memory and past knowledge. So that's a very important something in this time when you are getting ready. Now see, I think you don't no need of studying this one once again. That entire syllabus in grade 10 and 11 once again we are studying here. No need of any other revision or any other studying. No need. Right, so I'm just scrolling down architecture. So talented architects Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael. They're coming for MCQs, right? Right, scientific advancement, novel ideas on the universe. Nicholas Copernicus, known as father of modern astronomy, discovered that the earth is round and the other planets revolving around the sun. Isaac Newton, England, discovered the law of gravitation. Johannes Kepler, the planets are revolving around the sun. So it's known as sun-centered theory. So in some questions they're asking sun-centered theory as sun-centered theory. So then you should know sun-centered theory, Johannes Kepler. Galileo Galilei invented the telescope and observed the objects in the sky, discovered the craters on the moon and subplanets around Jupiter. Advancement in medicine. William Harvey, an English, discovered the blood circulatory system. Paracelsus, Swiss, experimented on the causes for the diseases and remedies for them. So at the end of the today's class, you have to give me a comment through WhatsApp whether this class was beneficial or not, useful or not. Not here. Shall tell it after the class. Send me through WhatsApp. And what were the things that? What were the weaknesses? What were some other objectives of you, or what you need? What are the shortcomings and everything? Just comment on this. Then I can upgrade. And Michael Curtis doubles circulation of blood, and Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing machine. Remember, this Johannes Gutenberg is not coming under medicine, okay? But I have included here. Never mind. After completing the second page, once again we go for some MCQs as well. We'll go for the second essay type question. Then the things to be done next time will be less than. Okay. Shall we go for MCQs after writing this? Do first 10 MCQs after finishing writing this. First 10 MCQs. So even when doing MCQs, I'm giving you the time to select the answer and showing the answer. Yeah, first 10 MCQs. Try to do the first 10 MCQs. They are in page number 4, as I think. No, 5 of this tute. Yes, page number 5. World History MCQs. This one. 2008 questions. Okay, we'll take one by one. Huh? Okay, the first question. Of the following European countries, which countries could be considered described as original nation states? So, what were nation states? Now, we will go for this nation states later on. This is the next part of this political development. Okay, what's a nation state? So, many started exploring the ocean. So, once again, go to this whiteboard and see. So, many started exploring the ocean. This one. So earlier, when people were thinking that Earth was a flat object, they did not discover anything that they did not want to go. So now see here, this is Iberian Peninsula. Portugal is here, and Spain is here. So they didn't know about any American continent. So they thought that if the world is a globe, uh, if they start from here, they can come to China or India, right? So they were knowing about China and India in this, so they thought that if they explore this Atlantic Ocean, right? So then they can go to India or China. So that's why there was a struggle in between Portuguese and Spanish to explore the Atlantic Ocean. So to settle the struggle, Pope had divided the Atlantic Ocean into two by an imaginary line. So this is imaginary line. So Pope divided this Atlantic Ocean, ordered Portuguese to not to cross this line and go down, ordered Spanish to cross this line and go. So that's why Spanish they reach where North and South American continents. So Spanish only discovered North and South American continents, and Portuguese also by a mistake they have gone here, and Brazil had been discovered by Portuguese. So but they were told to go to down. So then all these things now because of this what happened, Spanish they have gone to South America. South America, this Chile region, and this region was full of, actually this region was full of natural resources. All this gold and everything, silver had taken to their country. Spain became the first rich nation in the world. So that is a nation state. So nation state means what? A very rich nation which had been unified by a powerful king. So Spain became the first. France became the second. England became the third nation state. So that is the order. What is the order? Spain, France, England. Okay. Right. Now we'll see that one. The answer here. Now see Poland, Italy, England, Spain, Germany, France. So what? Spain, France, England, D, F, C or CDF. So here you can see the answer CDF. CDF. Third answer. Good. Now once again the next question. Second question. This question is actually related to Industrial Revolution, not about this one. So never mind. So because that section the eighth question no. So the questions related to eighth questions I have taken here. So because of that this is related to Industrial Revolution. Never mind. So what is the order here? George Stephenson, train engine, Alexander Graham Bell, telephone, Humphrey Davy, safety lamp, John Kay, running shuttle, and steam engine was by um, Thomas Newcomen, and telecommunication by Samuel Morse. Now the answer is here. This is the answer. BCFA. Some are giving answers. Amha says so too. Yes, that's correct. Third question here. We'll go to the third one here. Which country of Europe first embarked on exploration of the world? So I told I have given you here the two nations, and France and Italy out no. Then Spain and Portugal. They have come first to explore the ocean. What came first? We'll see the answer. Amha says one. Spain. Okay, to the whiteboard. Now see, this is Lisbon. Lisbon is belonging to Portugal. From Lisbon only they set out to the ocean. So then can we say that Spain was the first country who embarked for the explorations? No. Portugal, no? Portugal, no? Because all they came out from Lisbon. So then what is the answer for here? The answer for the third one is what? Portugal. Which country of Europe first embarked on exploration of the world? Portugal. Now the next question. Why did Constantinople become important in the 15th century AD? Because it became the capital of the Roman Empire, 15th century AD. Yeah? It became a center for training explorers of the world. It became a center that built the trade relations between the West and the East. It became the holy land of the Roman Catholics. What answer is the good answer? Some answers are coming. We'll see what answers are coming here. Asma says 3. Carl says 3. Samad says 3. We'll see. What is the answer? Yes, the third answer. It became a center that built the trade relations between West and the East. Fifth question. What's the historical event called Crusade? Now this is out of syllabus now. This is a 2008 question paper now, so because of that, this is out of syllabus. But you can write the answer because I explained. Turks capturing the Holy Land of Christians, conflict between Roman Catholic and Protestants in Germany, battles that originated between the Christians and Muslims over Jerusalem, subjugating Roman Catholic pilgrims to torture in Palestine. Any answer? Did not come anything. Carl says 3, Sama says 3, Asma says 3, Sandra says 3. Okay, we'll see. Yes, you are correct. Battles that originated between the Christians and Muslims over Jerusalem. Those are crusades. Okay. You are good now. You are giving very good, quick, correct answers. So we'll do up to 10 and then we'll go to the essay type question. Huh? Now, 2009 questions. Art and literature taking a secular outlook. Interest in teaching subjects such as theology in place of humanitarian subjects, highlighting collective feelings over the importance of the individual. Art and literature taking a secular outlook. Religious outlook, secular outlook. Religious outlook means religious framework. Secular means worldly. Interest in teaching subjects such as theology. Theology in place of humanitarian subjects. So theology, philosophy, law. Here it comes literature, history, like okay, ethics and all. Highlighting collective feelings. Importance of the individual is not the over the importance of individual. The through the name of a person, he cannot give birth to any creation. A revival of European languages and literature due to the study of Greek and Latin, out of the aspects indicated under A to D above. Two features that can be considered as those of the period of the Renaissance, belonging to Renaissance. Okay, now what is the answer? One gave the answer. We'll see the answer. Samad says 3. That means 3 means A and D. We'll see. How about the others? Amha says 3. Yeah, A and D means third answer. Sandra says 3. Art and literature taking secular, worldly, just Renaissance. Theology, feudalism. Collective feelings, feudalism. And Greek and Latin languages, Renaissance. A and D, very good. The answer is what? A and D. Asking what? Oh, my answer is wrong then. A and D is the answer. This answer is wrong, huh? I will correct this one. It must be this one, A and D. By a mistake, I have marked it as B and C. That is feudalism, okay? Answer is A and D. Right. Next one. 7. The main features of feudal system. This is also out of syllabus. Feudal system is not now. This is 2009. That the main feature of the feudal system prevalent in the European society during the medieval era was the existence of a strong monarchical system, centralization of the administrative system, existence of developed trade pattern, the existence of serfdom. If you know this answer, that means very well you understood what I taught today. Though this is out of syllabus, if you can give the correct answer for this one. Any answers to check whether you have understood or not? Someone says 2. Manal says 2. Sine says 2. Curl says 2. That means not understood. Okay. Tilsan says 2. Asya says 2. Asma says 3. Khavi, Hansika 4. Khavin 4. Different answers. No one says 1. Amma says 1. Ah, okay, the 4 answers are given. Okay, once again go to the whiteboard for a little more. 70 says 4. Good. Now see, feudal system. That aristocrat is here, king is here, and here the common people, right? So now, what is the question we'll see? In the question it is asked, what are the features of feudalism? No. Existence of a strong monarchical system, centralization of the administrative system, existence of development trade patterns, existence of serfdom. Now, strong monarchical system means king was very strong. Now, why this system happened? Because his power had gone down, his income had gone down. Now he is not a very good monarchical. There was no any good monarchical system. First answer wrong. Amhar's answer is wrong. Then says centralization of power. Many gave the second answer. Centralization means all the powers are centralized around the king. All the trade powers, economic powers, all the political powers, all the defense powers centralized. He is doing everything. No, no. He gave these aristocrats the lands. Why? Because he cannot give protection to common people. So second answer is also wrong then. Third answer says what? Third answer says that I can't remember the third answer. Third answer says that yeah, develop trade pattern. Develop trade pattern. So as the trade was declined, only the system started. So then third answer is also wrong. No developed trade pattern. But common people were slaves. Slaves means serfdom. So we call this as serfdom. Serfdom means slavery. Yes, the fourth answer is correct. So only three gave the correct answer. Kavin, Hansika, uh, Tevindi, they gave the fourth answer. So only three gave the correct answer, right? So then what is the answer for this one? This one, this one. See the existence of serfdom. Now the eighth question. On account of the power struggle that prevailed among European nations, the Pope decided to divide the world into two zones in 1493 to enable the said nations to engage in exploration activities. I explain. According to this allocation, the zone assigned to Spain was the present southern North American regions, eastern and Indian Ocean regions, southern European regions, regions in the African continent. What is the answer? Okay, okay. When you are sending the correct answer. What is the zone? South and North American regions. That's why Spanish they went to South and North American regions. Number 9. Which of the following nations selected Batavia as their eastern headquarters? Batavia, you know it. Yes, many gave the correct answer. Yes. Holland. Yes, Holland. And now this is also Industrial Revolution question once again because I told you that when selecting all the MCQs related to the 8th question I have selected. Okay. So then due to enclosure movement. Okay, due to enclosure movement what happened? Wealthy landowners forcibly enclosed the lands of the poor peasants, formed large farms by merging small peasant holdings. The agricultural holdings were fenced to protect the crops and closing the lands for the protection of the animals. Many answers are come, we'll see. Two. Yes, you're correct. Second answer is correct. Formed large farms by merging small peasant holdings. Now that means you are good. Okay, you are up to date. You form your answers, responses. I can see all in the paper class. You are up to date. Very good. That's what we need. What we hope to keep you up to date. Right. Now once again, shall we go to the short note? Yes. Okay. Going to the short note. Oh, what is this? Oh, this one. So we'll go to the essay type question. Which question? This question. The second question. We go to this question, right? But the question, how the Renaissance transformed Europe. So then under two headings, academic Renaissance is the first heading. What is academic Renaissance? It was the revival that took place in the fields of art, architecture, medicine, science, and political fields. This is the second possible question that can be given. Explain the results of Renaissance. Explain the results of Renaissance under two headings or three headings. If the question comes in that way, academic Renaissance or the development in the academic field. During medieval period, Latin language and Greek language were used in a limited way as tribal languages were used widely. But during Renaissance, there emerged a revival of interest in learning of those two languages. A number of authors who made a great service to literature emerged. Academic, no? Italy, Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio. In England, Sir Thomas More, Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare. In France, Erasmus. Many great creations had been emerged. Divina Commedia, written by Alighieri Dante. Sonnets for Laura, written by Petrarch. Birth of Humanism. Okay, complete writing answers. Complete in blanks. I told you that two possible questions we will discuss today. Here we have to write a little bit. Okay, so because of that, write. Even sometimes to complete it one, I'm taking another 10 more minutes, like from after 3, because we have to complete it and go finish the class today. Then only we can go for the complete the other section next day. Okay, Kavin. So anyone, if you have classes at 3, just never mind about this. I'll be sending you the recording if anyone wants to leave, right? Um, I'm not taking that much of time. I'm just completing these answers for this question only. If you're writing quickly, I can just move very quickly. Sometimes no need of taking 10 minutes. So then, birth of humanism. The idea that the man is the most important became a prominent feature. As a result, the religious framework had been broken, and people started looking at everything with a critical eye. As a result, many humanistic subjects had been emerged, like history, art. This is wrong. Law is not. By a mistake, I have included this one. Don't write law. Don't write law. Can I erase it? No, not now. That's wrong. Law wrong. History, art, literature, and ethics correct. Humanistic subjects. So this is what then? Academic Renaissance. So this paragraph you can write academic Renaissance. Art, craft, painting, sculpture, and architecture. Here you have to write a little bit. Artists and their creations. The city of Florence became a center for art. Famous artists emerged during Renaissance were Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Masaccio, and Botticelli. So great creations of Leonardo da Vinci were Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Masterpieces of Michelangelo were paintings on the ceilings of Sistine Church in Rome. and paintings of him were Last Judgment and the painting of Adam. Among sculptures, some famous masterpieces were emerged. So here you have to write a little bit. So art, craft, painting, sculpture, and architecture we take as one because that is what that's art. Academic renaissance we take that is education. Then here art, craft, painting, sculpture, and architecture. So how world what were the results influence of now that question can be given. What were the influence of Renaissance to the different fields in the world? Then what were the results of Renaissance? Like that also that can be given. Different wording may be there for the question, but the same answer is the same. Sculpturing in alabaster was a prominent feature. Sculptured Lorenzo the Medici of the Medici family by Michelangelo is alabaster, and the statue of Pieta, Moses, and David. So include all these things as much as possible in the information. Then they will give you marks for the content. So write more and more. That is the mentality of history. Writing more and more and more. You cannot summarize and write like in science. You have to write more and more and more in history. Now we'll go to significant changes in architecture. Buildings with circular arcs, high pillars, and half round domes were started to build instead of buildings with conical roofs. Talented architects during the Renaissance were Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo like. So remember to give me a feedback, okay, after the class through WhatsApp. You just don't send it through your personal WhatsApp, right? So just put in the group, our paper class group, that how the lesson was it important, useful, did you revise, and what are the shortcomings, what were the weaknesses, and what were the things to improve, everything. So the feedback is really needed for me to upgrade my classes. So even about the clarity of explanation about the technology, that means how you could see the whiteboard, whether it's visible or not. My writing small, any weakness you can just, any comment you can give, no problem. I'm not getting angry. Okay, Michelangelo and Raphael buildings constructed reflecting the great architecture. St. Peter's Basilica Church and Seed Church in Florence. A little bit more, Kevin, if you feel that you can just leave, no problem. On the other day, at the beginning, I will show you the other things because taking a recording to write this small thing is not needed. Yes. Okay, then going to the next part. See, now this is okay. That's all. This is all. So that means good. So then the end, that is the end of the second question, right? So the how the Renaissance transformed Europe, the academic Renaissance and changes now, but remember there you can write even under political results also. Okay, even like that nation states also you can get, but I will introduce such a question later on. So now for the moment we just write about this academic renaissance and art, craft, painting, sculpture and architecture. Okay, right. This is the stuff that we are going to do today. So now we will leave 2 pages of short note for the next day and 15 MCQs and one essay type question and the another past paper questions that we are keeping for the next day. So I think exactly the next day we can finish this the renaissance and we can go for the next topic next day. So we are up to date. So that means according to the schedule we are moving. Right. So then any questions? Can you show the yeah? I will show you the last part. Okay. Any questions to ask? Any place where you are not clear about? And as I told you, just give some comments about the this thing. I'll show you the last part of this one. Yeah, this one with the last part. Okay. Right. So then, so if so, you can just leave, no problem. So now it's the end of the class. So good afternoon, no, good evening, and God bless them.
Thank
Good
you,
evening.
sir. God bless
Okay,
you, sir.
okay,
Thank you, sir. God
okay,
bless you.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
God bless
okay,
you.
okay,
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
okay, okay.